This video tutorial shows 3PLs how Magaya software can help your customers with tracking. Customers need to know information regarding their inventory. We'll show you two of our most powerful tracking services. The first will be LiveTrack, our online web portal, which allows your customers to view, submit, and extract information 24 hours, 7 days a week. The second will be Transaction Tracking, our hyperlink tracking tool, which tracks your customers' transactions with one hyperlink for the entire logistics duration of their inventory. Let's take a look at each one in detail. Let's first talk about LiveTrack Access. Under the Maintenance folder, the entities who have access to LiveTrack are the following: forwarding agents, customers, salespersons, and contacts. In this video, we'll show you how to give access to a customer. First, select the customer's name, then either right-click or click the Actions button and choose Configure LiveTrack Logistical Access. In the General tab, you'll be prompted to enter a username and a password. You can either type the password in or click the Generate button and a password will be created for you. Later, I'll show you how to send the password to your customer. Make sure you have Enable LiveTrack Access on. In the Tracking tab, you can specify the tracking permissions for this customer. Choose all of the features appropriate to your business. In the Restrictions tab, you can limit what the customer can see. For example, by origin port, destination port, modes of transportation, or division. When finished, click the OK button. Now we'll send the customer an email with the username, password, and the link they need to go to. Select the customer and right-click or click the Actions button and select Send Invitation Email. This is the default email template that could be sent to your customers. We'll show you later how to customize this. Notice your customers can click the link and then they can enter their login and password notated here. So this customer that we just gave access to was the main company. If we have individual users within the company that we want to give access to, just do the same things that we just showed you within the Contacts folder. Now let's look at some of the configuration options within the Maintenance folder. In the LiveTrack configuration settings, you can choose what charges to show. In the Email Templates configuration settings, you can modify the invitation email. For information on how to update email templates, check out our knowledge base, Email Templates. Now let's go over how your customers log into LiveTrack. They can log into LiveTrack in two different ways. The first way is that they can go to tracking.magaya.com, where they need to enter the network ID, username, and password. The Magaya Network ID is found in the top toolbar of your Magaya database. The second way is by going to the same website, but adding this information to the end of the URL. The number here is the Magaya Network ID. By doing this, the LiveTrack portal automatically connects to your Magaya database so that it pulls your company's name and the logo. The logo is found within the company configuration settings, and your company's name is found under File, My Company Info. You can choose to have both options on your website, but it's preferable to have this option so you have your own branding and your customers don't need to enter the network ID. You can also set up LiveTrack so customers can register themselves. If you click the Register button, you'll see the account registration screen. In your Magaya database, under the Customer Setup Configuration menu, you can allow customers to register themselves in LiveTrack and choose what they can see and do in LiveTrack. If your customer forgot their password, just click the I forgot my password link. So let's enter a username and password and choose a language. Click the Login button and your customer may be prompted for security information. They can either save this or skip it. We'll just skip it now. Now your customers can see the home page of Magaya LiveTrack. First, let's take a look at your customer's profile on the top right. If the customer clicks the drop-down, they can select the Settings button. In here we have default measurement units and other options such as date formats and default entry screens. Your customer can also change their passwords here. Notice that you can allow LiveTrack users to update their passwords. Customers can also customize their templates here. Templates that are listed here pertain to the transactions your customers can submit. We'll go over this momentarily. Let's take a look at some options for 3PLs. Let's start with purchase orders. The purchase orders listed here are specifically for this customer. These are the same purchase orders in the purchase order list in your Magaya database, but have been filtered by customer. This way customers don't see each other's purchase orders. Let's take a look at some options here. They can select date ranges, or click the filter button for a standard or advanced filter. Your customers can click the actions button and choose the columns they want. They can also save these views. These options are also available within each list of your Magaya database. If your customers want to produce their own reports, they can click the actions button and just export it. When a customer double clicks on any line, they'll see detailed information regarding that transaction. They can also save any attachments here or even upload them. Now let's take a look at sales orders. All of the options we saw within purchase orders are also available within sales orders. In here, right-click or click the Actions button on any open sales order. You'll notice you can approve or cancel it. If we double-click the sales order, we see more information. We also have a plugin called Online Sales Orders. Let's see how it works. Click the Sales Order button and click Add. Your customers will have 4 steps to submit online sales orders. First, they can enter contact information, then click Next. Second, they can add commodities, either by searching by part number or uploading an Excel spreadsheet. They can select the quantities they want and click the Add button. If an item is not available, no problem, back orders might be available. This and many other options are available within your Magaya database under Online Sales Orders. Notice here we have the option to allow back orders when no inventory is available. To move on, click Next, and in the third screen they can enter in general information such as mode of transportation and any additional notes, or even custom fields that you define. Custom fields can be defined under the configuration menu by clicking on Sales Order and adding them. This way customers enter information you want them to send you. When finished here, click the Next button, and the last screen is a summary of what was done. Click the Submit button, submit the order, and they can either print it or finish. If they refresh this screen, they'll see the sales order immediately. They can upload any attachments as necessary. All submitted sales orders come into the Magaya Network inbox. You'll notice the sales order that was submitted is automatically in your sales order list. Now let's take a look at your customer's inventory options. In here they have a listing of all of their part numbers and the amount of pieces in the warehouse. To view details of that inventory, they can just double click it. If your customers want to see the detail of each individual part number, they can use the cargo detail list. In here they see every single part number and all of the transaction details related to it. When they click on any individual part number, they see even more details. If your customer wants to create reports using this list, no problem. Click the Actions button and export it. Now let's take a look at some logistics processes in LiveTrack. We'll start with pickup orders. In the pickup order screen, they see all of their pickup orders, and when they double click it, they get more information. Your customers can send you requests to pick up inventory or vehicles using the Online Pickup Orders plugin. If they click the Pickup Order button and select Add, they'll need to follow 4 steps in order to submit one. First, they'll need to enter loose cargo or buy equipment. We'll do loose cargo and select part numbers. For example, we'll select this part number and click OK. We can enter in as much information as we want, but we'll need to enter the total number of pieces. Let's add 10. When we click Add, we have pending to pick up 10 pieces. Now let's click Next, and here we can choose the pickup and delivery location and the shipper and consignee if necessary. Once we filled out all the information, we can also choose to copy to shipper and or copy to consignee. When we go to that tab, we'll see the information copied over automatically. When finished, click Next, and in the third screen you can enter any general information. All online pickup order options are available within the Online Shipping Orders configuration menu. You can also enter custom fields into online pickup orders by going to the Custom Fields configuration settings, clicking on Pickup Order, and adding them. In this example, we don't have any custom fields entered, so we don't see the Custom Fields tab here. When finished, click Next, and now we have a summary. Your customers can choose to print this or even their own labels. When finished, click Submit and submit the order. All online pickup orders submitted will be available within the pickup order screen, will show up in the Magaya network inbox, and in the Magaya database pickup order list. Now let's take a look at outbound processes, such as cargo releases and shipments. In cargo releases, you can do all of the things that we've seen previously. If you double-click a line, you'll see more details. Cargo releases are meant for local deliveries, and shipments are meant for international and domestic transportation. In the case of ground shipments, this would be considered long-haul shipments. Your customers can submit cargo releases, also known as online shipping orders. Just click the cargo release button, click on Add, and follow 4 easy steps. First, find your cargo, select it, and you'll see what's available. Let's choose this line and click the Add button. You can also add all or partial to. When finished, click the Next button. Here you can enter contact information. Enter as much information as needed. When finished, click Next and enter any general information. Custom fields can be added to online cargo releases too. Just go to the Custom Fields configuration menu, click on Cargo Release, and add them. Once you add them, you'll have a tab right next to general information that will say Custom Fields. Now let's click Next, and you'll see a summary. Click the Submit button, and submit the order. In the Cargo Releases screen, you'll see the cargo release automatically. In the Magaya database, under the Magaya network inbox, you'll see the cargo release. You'll also see it in the cargo release list. Your online shipping orders can be configured in the configuration menu under Online Shipping Orders. You can also send an online shipment. You have the option of air, ocean, or ground. Let's add a ground shipment. First, find your commodities. We'll choose part numbers here. Select your part number. Choose how many available items you want. Click the Add button, and then click Next. Enter your shipper and or consignee. When finished, click the Next button. In the third screen, enter general information, such as the port of loading and the port of unloading. If you want your customer to enter custom fields, click the Custom Fields definitions. Remember that you can enter custom fields in the configuration menu of your Magaya database by clicking on Shipment and adding them. When finished, click Next, and now you have a summary. In all of the ways we showed you that your customers can submit online requests, they can save these request templates easily by entering a template name, selecting it as default or not, and clicking Save. When they do this, they can recall this template at any time and submit the orders quickly. Now that we're done with this shipment, let's click Submit and submit it. This shipment screen will now display the shipment. as well as your Magaya network inbox and shipment list. Now let's take a look at invoices. Your customers can see all of their invoices here, and if they right-click it or click the Actions button, they can either pay it, approve it, or dispute it. These options are also available when they double-click it, and they can choose the buttons up here. Online payments can be configured within the configuration screen under Online Payments. As you can see, Magaya provides your customers with real-time tracking and much more. Now let's take a look at our other tracking tool, Transaction Tracking. Transaction tracking is simply a tool that is used to update your customers by email on the status of each transaction. For example, if we go to a warehouse receipt and we click on the email drop-down arrow, we'll see an option to send tracking link by email. This option is available from every single transaction in Magaya. You can either manually send the tracking link or have it automatically sent for you. We'll explore these configuration options later in this video. If we send the tracking link, your customer will receive an email similar to this, where they can use any of these links to follow the transaction at any time they'd like. When they click the link, they'll be taken to this page. Here they can see all the details related to this transaction, and they can open it on their mobile phone even when they are away from their office. They can expand individual line items and open attachments. In this example, we see both items are on hand. To see a real-time update, we can create a cargo release for one of the items, and then click the same link again, or refresh the page. We'll notice the status of the transaction has changed, and the status of the items have changed. This means you only need to send this link once to your customer, and they can see the status of this transaction anytime they want. Now let's discuss some configuration options within the maintenance menu. Let's start with transaction tracking. Here you can enable transaction tracking for the following transaction types. Explore the other options as needed. Down below, you can configure the transaction tracking email settings. For example, whether you want the system to ask you before sending the email, or have it automatically sent when the transaction is finished. You can also trigger transaction tracking by events. Events are configured within the event definition section and used within the events tab of each transaction. For example, if we look at this event, we can choose whether or not to send this event in the transaction tracking email. The events in conjunction with the transaction tracking is extremely powerful. You can configure different events within your workflow and then update your customers depending on that workflow. Also within transaction tracking is the ability to configure the email template. Email templates are configured within the email template section and by editing the transaction tracking email template. Also within the outgoing messages section, you can configure the default template for invitation emails. Now let's discuss how to configure transaction tracking within entities. The following entities are configurable with transaction tracking: carriers, forwarding agents, customers, vendors, and contacts. In this example, we'll look at customers. Select your customer and either right-click or go to the Actions menu and choose Configure Transaction Tracking. In here you have three options. You can use the default configuration, you can customize the default configuration, or never send tracking emails to this customer. Let's look at customizing the default configuration. For this particular customer, we can choose what transaction types to configure. You can uncheck one if you don't want this customer to get this type of transaction tracking email. Notice that the default configuration options are found within the transaction tracking configuration menu. You can even have transaction tracking on your website. This means you can put a small box on your website for customers to search their transactions. First, go to the following link. Enter your Magaya network ID and select which transactions you want to list. For example, we'll choose purchase orders and summarized sales orders. When finished, click the Generate Code button and add the below code to your website. If you click the Preview button, you'll see a preview of the box. You can change sizes, colors, and languages. As you can see, transaction tracking is extremely beneficial to customers. They don't even have to contact you on the status of their transactions. Be sure to check out the knowledge base for step-by-step articles you can print or email to help you use the software fully. Be sure to see our other videos in the 3PL series or contact our training and implementation department to optimize your use of the software specifically for your business. Thank you.